YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And happy Father's Day. Yes, guys, for all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I'm a father myself, so I respect this holiday. But, usually fathers are still working on Father's Day, so that is how it is. But, guys, I got 5 players at each position that I believe is the safest pick. So I got the Father's Day safest picks for you in your fantasy football draft. And my 5 picks, I'm basically drafting these guys at their ADP every single time I get an opportunity because I believe they are safe and they're going to boom. And I'm willing to go down with the ship with this. So what's going on, Harambe? My boy Harambe, he always doing the vertical lives with me. How you doing, bro?
Happy Father's Day, TD.
Yes, sir. Happy. Well, you're not a father, but
No.
yeah, happy Father's Day anyway, though.
No, I'm wishing it to all the dads, and I respect my dad and everything, and all the guys out there raising those kids. So good on you guys, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And happy Sunday.
Right. So, any recent news before we get started, bro? Any recent news you want to talk about? I heard didn't a couple guys get a contract? Who got a contract? Somebody got a contract recently.
T-Law just got the bag.
There you go. How you feel about that?
Well, he is now the highest paid player in all of NFL history now, so that's kind of crazy. Is he worth it? I do think he's a franchise quarterback. I'm not sure if he's getting that bag yet, right?
Right.
He's had some stellar performances over the most recent seasons. He hasn't been in the league too long, so he's still got a bright future ahead of him. I think Correct. He has a bounce back here this year with Ridley being gone, and he feeds his most trusted weapons in Kirk and Ingram and ETN. I want to see T-Law improve on what he did 2 years ago when he beat the Chargers in the playoffs. I want to see that kind of player coming back, from being in a deficit or getting whooped on in a game. I want to see him play smart and be that guy he was drafted to be. He was a college phenom, obviously first-round talent, was drafted into the NFL. So I just want to see him become that guy who just secured the bag, play like you just got paid, right?
Right, correct.
How do you feel about that paycheck for him?
I thought it was excellent. And I look at football differently. And that's why, a lot of times my takes are very different. I see the game is different. And I always compare it to relationships. Some of you understand it, some of you don't. But what I'm saying, if you go out and just watch a person throw for touchdowns and you think that's what makes a guy great, then I think you are missing the game. Trevor Lawrence he came off with a bad coach in the beginning. They got to give him some grace for that. And I've talked about quarterbacks like Steve Young, a lot of quarterbacks who had, they started off their career, even Alex Smith, with bad coaching, and they had bad stats. So if they bad, then how did they ever get good then? Because you can't look at Trevor Lawrence as, oh, he ain't played good. No, guys, you got to look at the play-by-play what the guy is doing. Trevor Lawrence is standing in the pocket. He can run. He's athletic. And he's accurate. But you got to put winning players around him. You got to enhance his skill set. I don't believe that people are looking at it as him enhancing his skill set with the players that are around him. Calvin really didn't fit him. Calvin really is a guy, an anticipation throw. Trevor is a big game quarterback. And what I mean by that, that's not saying he's he's better than other quarterbacks, but he needs tall wide receivers to throw the ball up to try to make plays. He's not really getting the ball out before a guy turns around. So Deontay Johnson, Calvin Ridley, those type of guys will not fit Trevor Lawrence. He needs guys like T. Higgins, Sammy Watkins, where you can throw 50-50 balls to. So I think Trevor Lawrence, this was a great deal because if you wait till he go out and win a couple playoff games, you're gonna pay him a lot, and it's gonna stagnate your team. But right now you got him on a discount. That's why I believe Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. Talking about two different things because I'm not looking at his stats. You got to look at Daniel Jones has had the worst coach in the NFL history. Trevor Lawrence had the worst rookie season ever with the coaching staff, what things that he was doing. And also that's up there in the top with Daniel Jones. So you got to give guys a little bit of that grace. So I don't want to get on that too far, but I want guys to understand it, to be able to watch the game with an eye instead of looking at the stats. So great deal Jacksonville. Great deal. I love that. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get on, bro. You want to start off with your quarterback first?
Yeah, so 5 safest picks for Father's Day for the quarterback. I took Dak Prescott. So he's going to be a value pick. He is every year, and every year he puts up numbers. We talk about it all the time. He's a safe pick. Look at the offense he's tied to, the offensive-minded coach, and then the weapons he has at his disposal. And you add in Zeke for this year. So you got Zeke there now. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Turpin. You've got Cooks. You've got Jake the Snake at the tight end position, right? Jake Fergie, who will be better this year. So, in my opinion, he's an extremely safe pick. He's an extremely safe and valuable pick. You don't have to necessarily reach for this safety type player. He was QB2 overall in fantasy, QB2. So you got all these other guys going early ahead of him, which I'm interested in having them on my fantasy squad. But if you could get Dak Prescott, in the 6th or the 7th,
depending on the league format.
Say redraft non-super flex, 1 QB, you could get him very late, and he's going to be a top 10 player when it's all said and done, points wise. So to me, he's an absolute safe pick for fantasy where you can get him, and I think he's going to return insane value and insane stats this year as he did late last year. What do you think?
I think Dak Prescott is always getting drafted too late in drafts his whole career. And I get it. Because he's not what you call sexy, pause. But sexy always don't get you the ring, and sexy don't always get you the fantasy football ring. Sometimes you gotta just get somebody with, that the ADP is really good and they got tremendous value to outplay their ADP, and that's what Dak Prescott is. You're not drafting him in the first and second round in superflex leagues, and in single quarterback leagues, he's not going at that quarterback run with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. You usually get him late, but then he can finish as a top 5 guy. So, man, I think you killed it, bro. I think Dak Prescott is one of the safest picks in the NFL draft, as long as he's healthy. I agree with that, bro. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Rami, can you tell them how to hit the like button?
Yeah, guys, sometimes it's confusing on these lives. You should see 3 dots in one of the upper corners. You hit those, you should see the thumbs up icon. So hit that for us. Pause.
Yep. Appreciate that, bro.
What's up, guys, in the chat?
So, guys, my safest quarterback this year is going to be CJ Stroud.
Yep.
And so what makes me call him safe, even though he's probably going to be in that top quarterback run in Superflex and also in single quarterback, is if you look at his weapons. Guys, he has Stephon Diggs, who's been a top 5 wide receiver 2 to 3 times in his career. He has Tank Dell, who is a young, fast wide receiver who had a great ADOT last year. He also has Nico Collins, who had 10 receiving touchdowns and also is a green zone touchdown machine maker. So with all that, I'm not necessarily targeting any of those wide receivers this year, but with all those wide receivers together, the person who's going to benefit the most is going to be CJ Stroud. And I'm willing to take CJ Stroud at his ADP. Guys, I don't think it would be too much to draft this guy number 1 overall if it fits. I think this guy is more destined to be a great quarterback in this draft than any other quarterback. Look at all these other quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes, we know that he's just want to win championships. Lamar Jackson, we know that he's a good player, but what is his rushing upside? How much is they going to throw? Is the Todd Munson offense going to take the next step? Josh Allen, who is his number 1 wide receiver? It's a lot of questions about a lot of the top quarterbacks, but CJ Stroud, I don't think it's a question. I don't think, as long as he's healthy, he got great coaching around him, I think this guy is going to boom, so I love CJ Stroud. What do you think about CJ Stroud, bro?
I think he's definitely one of the safest quarterbacks, if not players overall, and he'll finish probably top 5 when the season's over in points. So the last year or two, when people are chasing that insane, fantasy value out of Mahomes or whatever, when he's putting up 300, 400-yard games and multiple touchdowns, that's going to be CJ this year. So go get that guy early. Don't take a Mahomes there. Go get CJ there. You could even probably get him a round or 2 later because people are still going for those higher names. But with the weapons he has, the hype, the youth, like he's going to put up insane stats. So that is the guy now. That's the statistical quarterback you might want to go chase. And then also Stafford, he's going to put up stats this year too. You could wait on him and get him late. But he is probably, in my opinion, he's probably the safest quarterback to draft this year is CJ Stroud, because we know that offense is going to hum the whole year. Who's it going to be? I don't know, but CJ is going to be throwing it. He's going to be attached to those points every single time. So if you could stack him and get some of those other weapons later, man, you're going to be very happy with the point output you're going to be putting out the entire season. So I think that's a great choice. Great choice.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, go up to the top right corner and hit those 3 dots and give us a like. Help a brother out. As one of my channels that I watch, he always say it's called the HBO special. Help a brother out. Get this video out in the algorithm, guys. So I appreciate you. And I will get to all the comments. We will read the comments, but we're going to make sure the show flows first. So, guys, appreciate you. Okay. So I guess I'll start out with my running backs next. And I got a tie. And I think I'm going to ask you who you think my 2 running backs is going to be for the safest picks.
Kamara?
Nah.
No?
Not for the safest.
Oh, okay. CMC is no. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, I thought but it's going to be Bijan and Breach.
Okay.
Bijan and Breach. And let me tell you why. So first I'm going to start off with Bijan. He got top 5 draft capital. I believe Arthur Smith was fired because he didn't use Bijan the way they wanted him to. And it's not Arthur Smith's fault. Arthur Smith is more of a bell cow, between the tackles type running back scheme guy. But with Raheem Morris, he's coming from Sean McVay, and he bought an offensive coordinator over from the Rams. They're going to use Bijan kind of like Kyron Williams, CMC, Todd Gurley type, right? So and you hear the coach come out and say Bijan is going to get used like CMC. So, guys, I love Bijan Robinson this year. I think he's going to catch over 70 passes, and he's going to have at least 1,000-yard rushing with 10 rushing touchdowns and a couple receiving touchdowns. That's the floor. And he's going in the first round, and he's not going at the 1-1 or the 1-2 or the 1-3. His ADP actually, to me, is better than it was last year. He's going at the 1-7, 1-8, guys. So I love Bijan Robinson. I think you need to take this guy. He's also young. He hasn't had any injuries. So I love Bijan Robinson. Going to Breach. Breach has had a injury before, but he's 1 year removed from that injury. And guys, usually running backs of this type of caliber are usually drafted in the first 3 picks. That's why I'm a 0 RB guy, but I'm getting these robust RB guys at the end of my draft. I feel great about taking these guys. I usually don't want to take a running back because they volatile with their injuries. But at that ADP, I don't care what happens because I'm getting a running back who's going to get the goal line carries every single time. So that's important to me. It's all about how many goal line carries you're going to get. If you're going to get 100% of the carries, that doesn't mean a lot to me. But is anybody going to snipe you on the goal line? No, nobody's sniping these guys, and they got pass catching upside. Who thought that Breach Hall would be a pass-catching running back when he came out the draft? This guy hit 70 passes caught last year out of the backfield. That's without Aaron Rodgers. That's with Zach Wilson. That's with 8 men in the box. Pause. Who wants somebody with 8 men in the box? Pause. But yes, so I think Breach is going to ball out this year because you're going to have to back up with Aaron Rodgers throwing it to Garrett Wilson. And also, he got other weapons out there, especially with Aaron Rodgers with his mental capability of how to dissect the defense. So I love Bijan and Breach this year. Guys, I would target both of these guys. If you can get both, that's great. If you can't, it's okay. How do you feel about both of these guys, Harambe?
I felt Breach was safe at times last year with Wilson. Like later in the season, you knew he was going to put up stats and he was going to be involved. So to have a healthy Aaron Rodgers, you need him to be healthy all year, and they're going to be better this year on offense than they were last year. I feel it's a very safe pick, especially with the PPR upside. I have Bijan ranked just over Breach. I like the team. I like the weapons. I like the new coaching coming in, the new quarterbacks coming in. Last year, people drafted him very high, expecting him to be a CMC clone, putting up 2,000 yards, 50
or Adrian Peterson.
Right. Like,
because he was coming off an injury.
right. An insane talent. So I do like the upside for Breach more than Bijan, but I would feel a little safer drafting Bijan over Breach, if that makes sense. But they have insane upside. And if all those teams and those quarterbacks stay healthy, the sky's the limit for these two running backs. So I think those are fine picks.
Thank you. I
Pause.
appreciate that. Yep. Yes, sir. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. And the reason why this is cutting edge content, guys, we float to our own boat. Pause. We don't, yes, we do use stats, we do use analytics, but here we go down with the ship of our players, guys, and we don't try to give you regurgitated information. Not saying all these other channels are regurgitated information, but usually they're gonna go with the safe guys. And here we're gonna go with whatever we believe and go down with the ship, guys. And I want to give y'all different perspective. That's why I bought an intelligent guy like Harambe himself to come up and chat with y'all, because y'all know me, I don't care. And I'm not doing it because I don't care. Like, I just say anything to make it stick. But I'm saying things that I believe with my heart, and also I believe with my eyes. And Harambe has a little bit different perspective. We do agree on a lot of players, but he very intelligent with his breakdown, and I respect his knowledge. So I wanted y'all to be able to get both of both worlds. Good, get the good out of both worlds. So,
thanks, bro.
You want to go ahead with your running back?
Yeah. So I think the position this running back is in this year is possibly the safest he's ever been. He's a little bit older for the position. I believe he's 29, and it's Ravens starting running back Derrick Henry. So
Preach.
This guy is gonna be one of the safest picks in the draft this year, in my opinion. They will run him when they're winning to kill the clock. They're going to run him when they're trying to build leads to control the ball and establish the passing game. And he's going to get most of the goal line. Now, you're saying Harambe, he shares the goal line with Lamar. Yes, he does. But both of those guys are going to have massive goal line upside. Derrick Henry, I could potentially see 15 rushing touchdowns, if not more, or maybe one or two less. He has the capacity to put up insane touchdown numbers this year in that offense. And it's going to be the best team he's ever been on, surrounded by the best players with the best coaches and the best defense. Titans defense weren't slouches, but they're not the Ravens defense.
Right.
So he's going to be in position all year to put up massive numbers. And the coaches have already said they want to give him close to 300 carries this year. Yeah, that's coach speak.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's June. It's early, but they didn't bring this guy in to share the backfield. They brought this guy in to be a killer. So I'm targeting this guy in my draft. And if I do have to reach a little bit to get him on my team, I will do it, because I think this guy is going to be set up for an insane type year.
Bruh, facts. Love your players that you said so far, bruh. And a lot of people wouldn't believe, well, Derrick Henry at 29 being safe. Yes, he's with the Baltimore Ravens. That team makes him safe. So this is, and I want to go and add on to what you said about the goal lines. Did y'all know that Lamar Jackson have lost about 10 pounds this year? So if he was going to be a goal line guy, you don't lose weight.
He's going to do throwing this year.
Come
Tons
on now.
of it.
Lamar's trying to throw for 40. He's not trying to rush and be a dual threat. I mean, of course he's going to take off when he needs to, but this guy is trying to, hey, Derrick Henry, this is you. That way I can put the team on my shoulders by passing the ball. I don't have to worry about that. My body's going to be fresh. And Derrick Henry's going to get 300 carries. So I believe that Lamar Jackson, guys, is going to be in top 5 in throwing touchdowns. That's why I love Zay Flowers. So I'm not worried about Lamar sniping Derrick Henry. I'm not worried about that this year, because you don't bring Derrick Henry in if you're going to have a quarterback rushing for a lot of touchdowns. And I don't want to get off topic, but I also believe that with Jalen Hurts. Why not go ahead and just get an average guy like, we signed DeAndre Swift. Is Jalen Hurts still going to be doing a lot of rushing touchdowns? No, you bring in Saquon to take off some of that workload from Jalen Hurts. So that's why I believe in these two type of running backs, just to give a little bit of a caveat to Derrick Henry. Love that Derrick Henry take, bro. Love it.
Thank you.
Bro, do you want to go ahead and do your wide receiver? Because I know you sent me your template before we started. We got the same guy. So do you want to go ahead and start off with this guy?
Yeah, man. It's a guy we all know. It's a first round pick. I've seen people taking him number 2 overall, number 3 overall. He should be going right there. He's attached to an insane offense. He's attached to a good defense, and this team is going to be a threat in its respective conference. It's the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Show respect to the sun god.
Respect, bro. He's going to have over 100 catches. He's going to have around 10 touchdowns, if not a few more, a couple less, and he's going to probably be around 1,500 receiving yards. Has he hit his peak? We don't know. He's still young. This offense has all the same players back and all the same coordinators back. So maybe we saw a floor with a little bit of room for some better numbers this year. And even if he doesn't get those better numbers this year, you want that on your fantasy team. That is as safe as it gets. You're talking 10 targets a game, right?
Right.
So, in my opinion, that was an easy receiver to pick as the safest wide receiver. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what it is.
Right. I know this is cutting edge content, what I'm about to say, and I think Rami might go ahead and tell you he might not feel the same way, but I do feel this way. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Go up to the 3 dots and hit the like button.
What you
This
gonna
is a
say?
vertical stream.
What you gonna say, TD?
But I think Amon-Ra should be the second wide receiver taken off the board this year in redraft.
Behind Tyreek? Pause.
Behind Tyreek Hill.
Woo, that's spicy.
The reason why, so if you look at it, the team, man, this team is so loaded with weapons, and he's the number 1 weapon. I feel great about picking him over a more athletic, talented Jamar Chase, a more athletic, talented Justin Jefferson. The reason why, let me ask you this, Harambe. You know football. You love football. If you play in the Minnesota Vikings and you're a defensive coordinator, what are you going to do?
I'm going to take away Jetta.
How you going to do it?
Try to double team him and try to get massive blitzes to get the quarterback uncomfortable.
Are you willing to double team him every single play?
If I need to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you play in the Cincinnati Bengals, Harambe, tell me how you're going to defend them.
Going to take away Chase.
Are you going to try to make T. Higgins beat you?
Yes.
And Joe Burrow throw the other weapons?
Yes.
Or are you going to let Jamar Chase go deep and get deep behind you? If you do that, should you be fired?
You should be fired. You should never let Jamar Chase exploit your secondary. Pause.
Now, right. But if he catch a lot of 7, 8 passes underneath, you can't stop that. But you're not going to let him get behind the defense. So when you playing, tell me what are you going to do when you playing the Detroit Lions?
You can try to shut down Amon-Ra, but then you got to deal with the running backs. You got to deal You got to deal with Porta Potty, and you got to deal with potentially sleeper pick in JMO this year.
Come on.
Now
they got to deal with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. You can't just stop Amon-Ra. They don't need Amon-Ra. You first of all, when you play the Detroit Lions, you have to stop the run game. But these other teams, you don't got to stop the run game.
That's right. And you know what?
So
St. Brown will get shut down a game or 2 or 3.
Right.
But it's not going to be a thing you can do every single week because they'll exploit the defense every single week. And that's what you saw happen last year. Boom, this guy went off. Boom, Sam Laporta went off. Boom, Gibbs. Boom, Montgomery. You can't shut that offense down. You can for a couple drives or a week or 2, but they'll just do something else. So
at a high level.
Yeah.
So you can't just go in. So that's to me. And then Amon-Ra also plays the slot. So when you play the slot in today's NFL game, you're getting a little bit more targets than normal. You see guys like Chris Godwin, who's getting moved into the slot again this year, because the slot is the way you find mismatches in today's NFL. And Amon-Ra plays the slot, and he can. Of course, he plays outside. So when you double team in the slot, your defense is at a mercy. You don't double team in the slot as much because your team is at mercy. So
It's
I
not
love
fair.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's
this
not
year.
fair. That offense
It's
is not fair.
It's not fair. So I love Amon-Ra St. Brown as a safe pick. Now, listen, if you want to go boom or go home, then yeah, you can go with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. But to me, I feel good with having Amon-Ra on my team every week, and I feel safer with the target ratio and the game script and the game plan. So that's why I believe Amon-Ra is my number 2 wide receiver off the board and one of my safest Father's Day safest picks.
I agree. He's definitely he's not a big boom like some of the other guys. You know, he can boom, but he's not that big boom player. But he's definitely the safest one.
Right.
I would agree. That's why I put him on the list.
Right.
I'd feel just fine if that was my first round pick. No problem at all.
Right. Okay. So I guess I go on to my tight end. And this is kind of obvious, but then it might not be. But my safest tight end on the board is going to be Travis Kelce. And the reason why I got him on his ADP, he's actually going as the 3rd tight end. People want LaPorta over him this year. I've personally been drafting a lot of Trey McBride over him. And I believe you're getting him at his old school ADP. And so that makes him a safe pick. He's a wide receiver playing tight end. That type of target is very, very safe. Now, do I believe that he's going to boom like he used to? No, because when they get up on teams, they're going to take Travis Kelce out the game. Because this is what you don't want to see. This is the way I look at the game. Like I said, everybody else sees the game differently, and that's fair. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content. But everybody looks at the game differently. But this is what I see. If they get up on a team and they up by 12, 13 points and they going into the late 3rd quarter and Travis Kelce catch a ball for about 15 yards and somebody fall on his ankle, that's Andy Reid's fault.
Yep.
Now, if he gets hurt in the game and they trying to win it, that's football. But if y'all up by 10 points, 14 points, and you got Travis Kelce out there at 36 years old, that's your fault. And I don't believe he's going to be out there to go and step on your neck like he's been doing in the past. So I don't believe he's going to be really good in the 4th quadrant because usually Kansas City has done this the past couple of years. They've been so good that in the 4th quadrant they start taking their players out early. And you wonder, like, why Tyreek Hill back in the day? Why Tyreek Hill didn't give me this? And why Travis Kelce come out the game? Because they already got the division and they trying to win a Super Bowl. So that's why I think that his boom is down. But his safeness of getting 7 to 8 targets early and often, even on the first drive of the game, is Travis Kelce. He's a wide receiver and he's a mismatch every single time. So I think he's the safest pick as a tight end on the board, and you can get him this year because nobody's drafted him in the 1st round. I think he's going in the 3rd round most drafts now because he's older.
Yep. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. I like the fact his value has slipped a little bit in redraft. I expect him to be a top 5 tight end, return tight end 1 numbers. And I do expect him to be involved often in the 1st quadrant and the 2nd quadrant so they can maybe get, where they want to be in the standings, get some momentum as the year goes on. Because they might be down Rashee Rice too. So he might be hyper targeted early. But he's not gonna put up that like 1,400 yard season like we're used to with like 13 touchdowns. That's not gonna happen. But I could see him getting close to maybe double-digit touchdowns and maybe close to 1,000 yards.
Yes, sir.
And like TD said, later in the year, if they're in, pole position in the standings for the playoffs, they're going to take players out, and he's going to be one of them too. But if you could get him 3rd, 4th round, I think it's an easy pick. It's definitely a safe pick, and he's tied to Patrick Mahomes. So what's not to like with that pick?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So my guy is potentially the number 1 target on his team now. And this is a playoff team who's attached to a high-ranking fantasy quarterback. You get him a couple rounds later than Kelce. It's Dalton Kincaid. So we don't know if he's going to put up these insane, hyper-targeted games. I would expect it. He's going to get at least 8 targets a game, I would think, somewhere around there, with the opportunity for more. he definitely has the opportunity to be the number one receiver on the team, and he might be close by the year's end. And he's kind of a unique tight end. He's not a blocking tight end. He's like a receiving tight end. So they're going to scheme him up and try to get the ball to him. Late last year, they were even lining him up as a receiver. Do you remember that on some of those plays, TD?
Yes, I do remember that.
So I feel he's safe based on the targets he's going to get in that offense. They're going to be playing for a playoff spot the whole year till the end. And if Josh Allen has that MVP style of year, he's going to have a go-to guy, and it could very well be this guy who you could get at a fair ADP. So in my opinion, he's safe because of the quarterback he's tied to, the offense, the targets that are coming in his way, and his ADP. It's what's not to like about that. It's a value pick and it's a safe pick. What do you think?
I think it's a good pick. I don't safe. Yeah, I do think it's safe, but I think it could be other guys that might be a little bit more safer, like maybe Evan Ingram. But I think safe with the potential of what's going on with no number one wide receiver there, you would think that he would have to lead this team, and he's the only guy in the passing game that you can trust right now on this team without seeing any games being played. So I agree with that. I'm definitely willing to take Dalton Kincaid. I actually, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to do an oxymoron, but I might rather fade Travis Kelce and go to Dalton Kincaid because of the ADP value. So I do like Dalton Kincaid. I do think that he could go out and get 10 receiving touchdowns and lead this team in touchdowns. Maybe not in catches because he's a tight end, but definitely in touchdowns. Yes, I like Dalton Kincaid.
And I was thinking too, as you were talking about Kelce, how his ADP has fallen, about 2 rounds versus last year. So I was kind of just brainstorming. So if I'm on the board and like say you take Kelce right there, I would feel good about taking like a Pacheco. So you get a piece of that offense, and he'll get run when they're leading. They'll kill the clock.
Right.
And he could be a good all quadrant player as the year goes on, and then grabbing Kincaid a few rounds later, so you have that upside as well. So I was kind of just brainstorming that too, but how could you go wrong with Travis Kelce in the late 3rd or early 4th?
Right.
I think you can. Or like Kincaid in the 6th or the 7th.
6th or the 7th as a young stud tight end that was drafted in the 1st round.
Yeah, man.
Come on now.
Yeah,
I think the opportunity cost with Kincaid is phenomenal.
I'm excited to watch him play this year. I want to see what he can do.
Right. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna ask Rami again. I hate to put him on the spot again, but I like doing this because he's very intelligent. He knows, he's been watching my channel for a while. But this player right here is very, very, very obvious. And I'm gonna call him safe. Who you think this player is, and it's a wide receiver? Who you think I'm gonna say?
I think you're gonna say Tyreek Hill.
That's it.
Cheetah.
Yes, sir. Yes, the cheetah.
Yeah.
With the type, so I don't think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson can hold Tyreek's jockstrap when he's healthy. Pause. And I'm gonna tell you why. The way he gets used in this offense is built around him. I don't know not one offense, maybe outside of Justin Jefferson, that an offense is purely built around the skill set of a wide receiver. Purely. Most quarterbacks, yeah, they make wide receivers good, but the team is still built around the quarterback. This team is not built around Tua. This team is not built around Devon A-Chain. This team is not built around this offensive line. This team is built around Tyreek Hill's speed. So when they get around, I'm always knowing like Tyreek gonna score. He gonna score. He gonna score. They're gonna make sure he scores.
Did you freeze up, bro? Could someone in the chat say if TD froze up? I think he froze. You froze, bro. Well, close it out for him. TD is right with Tyreek Hill. This guy's got the boom. He's valuable in a PPR league. If you look at his game logs, the coaching staff designs the entire offense around this guy to feed this guy so they could get up huge leads. And then maybe A-Chain comes in this year and kind of closes games out. I'm excited to see what Tyreek can do with a healthy Waddle, what he could do with that. So he could even challenge for the 2K yards he was talking about last year. So what's not to like? My guy was CMC. It's obvious. It's as safe as it gets. You go look at his numbers in this offense, his past numbers. He's easily the top pick or top 3. A lot of people like to take wide receivers. I know TD would take Tyreek Hill number 1 overall, and I'm not going to fault him for that because of the booms you get with Tyreek. The game logs are insane. Same thing with CMC for me. He's getting targets through the air, he's getting handoffs, and he's getting goal line in that top 5 offense. So 2,000 yards isn't off the table again. He did it last year, a combined 2,000. And then he had 20 touchdowns, and then they were taking him out of games late. And he was a league winner for many, and he's still a top 3 pick, top 2 pick, top pick. So you guys can't go wrong with either